Hello students, it's Mr. Nick. What's coming up is a quick tutorial on how to use the Pathfinder window in Adobe Illustrator to combine and divide shapes and make some custom shapes, along with some other tools thrown in there. So I hope you enjoy.
Hey, this is Mr. Nicholas here again with another Illustrator tutorial, and this one's going to be really quick. I've been working on Doodle for Google with my class, and a lot of kids were having trouble remembering how to cut shapes from within shapes or add to shapes and things of that nature. So I'm going to show you a little bit of this stuff. Our last tutorial went over the pen tool basics, and that's there. And here's the basic directions for how to cut shapes from the window Pathfinder menu. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is just a picture of the old and new Google logo, and I'm going to zoom in on this using my zoom tool, and very simply I'm going to show you how to make these O's because they're kind of the quickest, and then I'll show you how to make the G. Same basic principle. So that's the zoom tool. Here's the hand. It's going to allow me to move stuff around a little bit. Alright, and for the O's, since it is a circle, I'm not going to use the pen tool. I'm going to use the ellipse tool, which is buried underneath of, oops, clicked it too many times, buried underneath the rectangle tool at the default opening up. When I make a ellipse, I'm trying to find this invisible corner right here, where if I were to draw a line from the top edge over to here, or the side edge straight up, I'm going to try to find that corner, just make it easier on me to try to make it right the first time. That's pretty close. But if I hold shift, it's going to make a perfect circle, and you can see that those Google O's are a perfect circle. The new ones are. Old ones are too. The inside is not. And we'll see. I'm going to flip-flop that and make sure it's good to go, and I'm actually going to change the color to something else, say red, whatever, so I can really see it there. Now what I need to do is make another ellipse. So I'm going to start up here again, that imaginary corner, and drag it out. Notice I'm not holding shift this time because the inside's kind of more of an oval. A perfect circle just isn't going to quite get there if I'm holding shift down. So I'm going to make the best oval I can. That's pretty close. Zoom in. Always want to get close. Looks pretty good to me. Good enough for this tutorial anyway. Alright, now I'm going to change this from a stroked image or a stroked circle with no fill to a filled circle with no stroke with a little flip-flop arrow. And do the same thing with the outside circle, flippity-floppity, and then I need to select them both. If you're unable to select them both, it's because you made the inside one first and the outside one second, and what you're going to need to do is double click if you're on a mouse, or right click if you're on a mouse, two finger click if you're on a touchpad, and go to arrange, and then bring forward or backwards, same kind of thing you would do in PowerPoint to send something forward or backwards, so you can select them both. Anyway, once we have them both selected, we can open up that window I was talking about earlier. It's called Pathfinder here in your window menu. And Pathfinder's got all kinds of different options, one of which is this divide in the bottom left hand corner. Once I click that, and for some reason I always click it a couple times, it will have divided these shapes from one another, so that I can then go in with my white arrow, click off the circle, click back on the middle circle, and delete with the delete key on my keyboard. So there you have the O, and it's a little separated out. You can see it's the same. If I want to make it this same color, I could take my eyedropper and just click in the gold color there, and it's going to make it that color. Now the G is only slightly more difficult in that I have to draw this outside section, but in order to get the circle part of the G, again, I'm going to use an ellipse and the Pathfinder tool to combine it with the outside section. So I'm going to get that ellipse as best I can. Looks like the bottom's okay. Get my black arrow, move tool, and just stretch out the top, get it to line up there, maybe a little bit on the left side. If I zoomed in, I could get a perfect. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to flip-flop this. Leave it on yellow for now, that's fine. It looks like I went a little too far. But you can see why I might want to do this in Illustrator again for the vector image, because this internet image I got is pixels, and it looks pretty bad once you get close up in here. You see all those little pixels in there, and it gets blurry on the edges. Alright, so I've got my outside circle, or ellipse. I'm going to get my inside ellipse here. Even if I don't get it even close like that's, well, it's pretty close. There you go. Drop it not too close. Make it right. Make it right. I'm going to get my pen tool. And I'm going to start not on this ellipse, because if you start like right on the ellipse, then it's going to try to think you're adding an anchor point. So I'm just going to start somewhere that's not on a vector line that already exists. And this isn't going to be great, but I'll get it okay. Just a couple of clicks. Close enough. There we go. Find the middle. Click it up. Straightens out there. And all the way back up. Okay. So one of the things I want to do first is combine this kind of J shape I just made with the outside circle. We're going to first combine those two. I can select them both with Shift and my Move tool, make sure they're both filled, and go back to my Pathfinder window, selecting the top left one, which is Unite. That has now made them, obviously you can tell that's one circle, or one shape, right? So they are now one shape by themselves. I can move it around as one. Different than grouping, it makes them one. And this is where I'm going to have to use that arrange thing, because I can't get my inside circle, it's underneath. So I will, see, two-finger click on my touchpad, arrange, send backward. That allows me to now pick that up. Should have clicked Shift to get them both. And now I'm going to divide again. Get my white arrow. Always have to deselect, because if I just hit delete, it's going to delete the whole thing. So I deselect by clicking anywhere out here in the white space, clicking on my inside circle, delete on the keyboard, and there's my G. Flip it open. Oops, I don't have it selected anymore. So if I flip it open and fill it with my eyedropper, get that exact blue. There we go. So now my G and my O are right there. So I hope you have a good time playing with the Illustrator pen and Pathfinder and Ellipse, whatever else.